Up, the Miami Herald endorsing Marco Rubio. We're talking to the editor, going to ask him, you still standing behind the guy despite, I'm going to say, dismal showing in the polls? And candidates blast Donald Trump, saying he is inciting the violence at those rallies. We'll deal with that in just a moment.
Trump is responsible for what happens at his events. He is the person who has, for months now, been not just inciting violence, but applauding violence.
I would hope that Mr. Trump tones it down big time and tells his supporters that violence is not acceptable in the American political process.
Still on the election, the Miami Herald endorsing Marco Rubio. Rubio, though, is still way behind in the polls, both in Florida and in Ohio. Nancy Ankrum is with us. She's with the Miami Herald editorial board. Nancy, welcome to the program. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much.
You know, a lot of people outside of Florida are very surprised at Rubio's poor showing in the polls. And a lot of people are wondering, how come he's fallen so far? And a lot of people say it was because he got down in the mud and wrestled with Donald Trump and lost. What say you?
I say that Trump surprised a lot of candidates and threw this entire election off kilter, off balance. Obviously, we did not expect to see someone like Jeb Bush, an experienced governor from a legacy family, to be out of the race at this point. The fact that Rubio is hanging on is a sign of both his staying power and his stubbornness.
How do you account for Trump's rise? You've got a perspective here from Florida. How do you account for it? I mean, the man's come from nowhere in 9 months and has won, I think, 15 states.
I think that he has tapped into the resentments and the latent hostilities that we have seen and that have been nurtured by his party through dog whistles and through innuendo and through winks and nods regarding racist beliefs, regarding sexist beliefs, regarding LGBT hostilities. And he has been able to say it where others, more mainstream Republicans, have not, or have been afraid to, but have also used innuendo, winks and nods to talk to the base. He's talking very directly to the base, and they are responding.
Have you, has your paper endorsed either Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton?
We don't endorse. I just want to clarify. We do not endorse. We recommend. When we endorse, by using the word endorse, it means we buy, 100% who and what a candidate is about. We only recommend simply because we have to take a look at who's best in a particular race. We might disagree with them, as we do with Rubio, but we have recommended Rubio from a practical standpoint as the one candidate who can probably unite the GOP, which is very fractured at
Nancy,
this point.
I don't have much time left, got about 10 seconds, but does your paper support Democrat or support Republicans in this election?
In this election, we supported Hillary Clinton in the Democratic primary and Marco Rubio in the Republican primary.
Which one do you prefer, Republicans or Democrats?
You know what? I have a colleague who says we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it.
Not sure I got that one. I'm going to put you down as a Democrat, whether you like it or not. Is that okay?
I guess so.
Is that okay?
As I said, take me at my word.
Nancy, it was fun. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it, man. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Bye-bye.
protests at the Donald Trump rally in Chicago. It was cancelled. This, as Hillary Clinton says, Trump is stoking the violence to win voters. Here's Trump's response. Watch this.
I have by far the biggest crowds, 25, 30,000 people. Last week we had in Alabama 35,000 people. As big as these rallies are, nobody's ever been hurt. We talk and we try and be good. And I will tell you, some of the protesters are very rough and they're bad dudes and they swing and they punch. And nobody ever talks about that in the media.
All right, author and evangelical leader Johnny Moore is with us. Johnny, I can't remember. I think you support Trump, don't you? I can't remember.
I was supportive of Ben Carson, and I'm, like lots of evangelicals, going to support whoever the nominee is.
Okay, so now Ben Carson has endorsed Donald Trump. So I take it you have thrown your support behind Donald Trump. Is that correct?
No, I'm working for My Faith Votes, a national campaign to get 25 million evangelicals to show up that didn't show up last time around. Now, lots of evangelicals, if he's the nominee, I'm totally cool with supporting him, and I think that's where lots of evangelicals are. I'm just waiting out to see who the nominee is.
But so you won't say now that you are supporting Trump or Cruz?
No, I supported Ben Carson until Ben Carson got out of the campaign, and now I'm waiting to see who the nominee is. And I think that's where most evangelicals are. I think when it's all said and done, that the evangelical community in this country is going to gravitate around the Republican nominee. And by the way, Ted Cruz just said that on this very program. You clipped in with him, and he said on this very program, he said, if Trump is the nominee, I'm going to support him. He said it.
The violence at Trump rallies, who do you hold responsible for that?
I mainly hold the protesters responsible for it, and I just believe we don't know what hyperbole is anymore. I think in a rally of 35,000 people, like Trump said, like in Alabama a week or so ago, I mean, there'll be crazy people, and then that's the job of law enforcement to control that. And so, no, I don't condone violence. No one condones violence. It's just crazy. But everything Trump says is hyperbolic. I mean, this is how he talks, and I think anybody that takes these sorts of comments seriously probably deserves to end up in jail when it's all said and done.
Could you conceivably, could you imagine voting for Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, evangelicals generally?
Well, this is not a theocracy, right? It's a democracy that we live in. And the difference between Hillary and between Donald Trump is really clear. Hillary makes it very, very clear on the issues that are important to evangelicals that she will not support those issues, from limited government all the way to pro-life issues. At least Donald Trump is clear in his rhetoric that he will support those issues. And so, I'm just going to take the candidates at their word. Whoever the nominee is, that's who I'm going to support.
All right,
I
Johnny
supported
Moore.
Ben Carson.
Okay. We hear you, but let's not forget Ben Carson has endorsed Donald Trump. But you're not going to follow him necessarily, are you?
I'm gonna wait till there's a nominee, but I'm totally okay supporting Trump if he's the nominee.
Okay, we're here. Johnny, thanks very much for joining us.